do it. I guess maybe if you called out the path that is coming around from the other side a little bit better, but there's no other obvious place for me to go except drop down. And then you walk off a cliff. Like, players don't want to just walk off a cliff. All right, I guess I'm supposed to go over there.
I guess there's
I failed.
Which means we probably want to expand that space out a little bit more so it looks a little bit more clearly like it's further away.
This area still has massive layout problems.
Imagine this was great for this section.
I can imagine they're not exactly thrilled. I know they need programmers.
And James Marion.
And James Marion. I'll fire him if he's bad.
Yeah.
Further kick off the hub because it's so big.
It's huge.
You're going to lay out the whole hub and then figure out what brain we would want to do. So you guys want to do the brain in a jar?
Yep. Locked.
Today is a little presentations. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to make sense.
Zach said a lot.
This changes everything. Like this gives me like 10,000 more ideas all of a sudden.
That seems awesome.
Keep going. Good. I got thumbs up. Okay. Are we clear to go into whiteboxing?
I think so.
Sure. There's more to be worked on with powers in this step, this whole phase?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what kind of stuff
Of course there is.
would you like me to do?
I wouldn't worry. I think right now whiteboxing is about like scope, area theming, flow, like getting mesh built. You can just have a stub of like, and then a puzzle happens here, same way you're gonna have like, and then a combat happens here, and then there's a cutscene here. Like, you just don't worry, you don't need to worry about it right now for the first step of Whitebox.
Okay.
We should get to that, but like the most important thing is like, how big is this level? What does it maybe look like?
So for the next week or two.
Yeah, I don't know how long we have on Whitebox 1. 3 weeks. The brain in a jar.
And who's the double team?
The level team is James,
New guy?
Jeremy,
Old guy?
and Levi.
Really old guy.
And you as the writer. You're the writer on the level.
As the writer.
As the writer.
And you cut to me and I'm like smoking and typing on an old typewriter.
Like the beginning of Barney
Sleeves
Miller.
all rolled up. Pull out papers. Yeah.
Also in this whiteboxing phase, I get the impression that we don't want to show this kind of stuff to Tim until it looks like something that will get him excited about the level.
I'll just be like, why are you wasting my time?
Well, yeah, at some point it's just kind of clutter as far as the information we're delivering him. And there's not much changing about the narrative right now.
Can you actually make a note for yourself to revisit the door metrics?
Yeah.
Because I think they're
Too small.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
ran through it
then
yesterday, I
these
thought,
are the three
this is too
islands, and this is kind of the rough size of what the whirlpool should be in terms of like a comparison to the islands. It'd be like a big harpsichord that has fallen over across this gap or something.
Yeah, we might run into some maximum allowable length issues for tight ropes.
Oh,
we can fix
interesting.
those.
Oh, I
We just want to we've never made tight ropes that long. So.
I didn't know that was a thing. Sorry.
It's not. We just found that out.
But this is outside of direct light in this area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
porous,
going to
though.
be a little dimmer, and Raz's influence is going to
yes.
be.
Yeah, I'm less worried about what the aesthetics of each individual area at this point, more so to like what is this area eventually going to be and what's going to be happening there. Like what is the purpose of an empty box being here right now and it represents this thing. So I have full faith that we'll be able to make it beautiful.
Yeah, so then you jump down. Hey, shit. Because I've never sat down in my life and tried to build platforming paths in 3D. So I think I'm doing a pretty good job getting a flow for like how things connect and all that.
Yeah, I've never worked on a platformer either, to be honest. And, like, it's kind of bad because like I'm not very confident in like my like level design stuff, so like I don't ask for as much feedback as I should.
It does feel like a lot. I don't know. It was like one of the things I was thinking about between like the cave and then this area. Is it a lot now compared to what it was before? There's like 3 puzzles here.
You're asking me, here's that.
Just everyone.
It doesn't feel. I mean, we're not done with it, so I can't tell you if it feels like a lot yet.
Yeah.
Are you sorry? Well, what do you think about it? Do you think it's too much right now, or?
It's like when we were talking about it before, these 2 areas like seemed really small,
Yeah.
and now they're huge. I'm just wondering if this level is already getting bigger in scope than we initially thought it would be.
There will be definitely like major scoping is meant to happen during the white box phase. So getting the first version out that is as big as you'd ever want it to be, and then paring it back from there is absolutely the process you should be doing right now.
Go team.
Yeah.
Good start.
Well, let's talk about last week in the world of Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, we're just kind of plugging away at our first 2 levels. So we've got the Brain in a Jar and the whole Hub 1 HQ and surrounding areas. But that's very exciting. So those are our first production levels, and especially, the Brain is our first Brain level, and the Hub is going to be the huge chunk of the game. So that's exciting to have some of that stuff figured out.
How do you like Ryan's hub level?
Not a fan. Oh, I thought you were just talking about Ryan. The hub level is really cool. It's I don't envy their job because it's such a huge space, because it just kind of has to exist and support the narrative. They're creating paths, and then they have to create paths between those paths, and then explorable areas between those paths that don't detract from those paths. It's kind of nutty to think about.
Try not to do too much to like make the scene look good right now, but you still have to do enough to make it readable and let people start to understand what it could be in the future. So this is the first stab. There's some stuff happening, which is exciting. Yeah.
A tool that shows like jump distances and stuff from a point, is that too far off to even start worrying about?
No.
I would love to have a tool like that eventually, but it's probably a substantial amount of programmer time we need to get all the moves in first. So, yeah.
We'll figure it out. We can spec out what we want and then see what some steps are to get towards that.
Cool.
We're learning how to work together. We're learning how to work with the tech we have. Fortunately, now that the Rhombus of Ruin team has finished their game and released it, and we've got a couple of the programmers from that team. We have people who understand the tech a little bit better, so that's great.
There you go. Code Bros. There they are. All right, welcome to Stand-Ups. What did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? And are you blocked by anything or need anything? Today we have an interview. The bouncer should be done, so I'm going to do some quick tuning on that. We're having a meeting on relative gravity to talk about just what the requirements are.
We're talking about kind of similar to like what was in the Milkman level.
Well, we can talk about that too. That's the other big thing to talk about.
I mean, you must have known you were going to come on to Psychonauts 2 afterwards, but you got thrown into gravity.
Yeah.
It's something that I think like fans are really expecting, and with the way that the team has been rolling forward with white boxing, just not having that in place means that they haven't really been able to think about it in the design sense.
Yeah, I think the Milkman level was a lot of people who play the game, when you ask them, what did you like about the game? What was memorable? They're always like, oh yeah, and that Milkman level was really cool. Like that's something that always comes up, and I think it just subverted a lot of people's expectations at the time. It's visually extremely compelling because the artists we have here are amazing, and the physics behind that gravity system really complemented that. And so I think that's the fact that it was so memorable in the first game, I think is why we'd want to bring that part of it back here.
Because that's one thing in like Sasha's Cube, like having momentum as you jump over the edge, but you kind of slingshot as it goes.
There's a
into
little of
another
that with the bounce back from the melee, but I think they kept the momentum and vectors of the gravity changing stuff like really simple and predictable.
Yeah.
So that as a player you could tell what's going on. Because I think if there was that kind of complex like multiple momentums going on, it would just get super confusing from a over the shoulder kind of view.
Right. Anna, you're gonna
Anna,
barf.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just if you're gonna spew.
Yeah, we've got a bag for you right here. Just right there. That's great.
And so I think there's an interesting challenge coming up with how do we make it memorable but not just do the same sort of twist that we had then. So, I'm kind of excited to see what people do with it. We have a great set of people making Raz feel as good as possible just walking on a flat surface. I want him to feel the exact same way no matter where he's walking. And so I'm trying to be as sort of surgical as possible to avoid changing any of those tuning values and to sort of exert as little design as possible just to get it working initially, and then we can start making interesting decisions about, well, if we did want to change the way he feels when you're going around a surface, then what would you need to change from the default? So.
We'll come up with an approach that we do first, then we'll play it, and we'll decide if it's crappy, and then we'll change it. There's a couple of other like wacky things like glide rings or different kinds of disappearing platforms or a cannon or whatever, but they're not like bread and butter would be in a lot of levels.
Yeah, and we have some like we need to revisit tightrope.
Absolutely.
but
Long jump, I
It does
thought was one?
exist.
Yeah, the long jump and high jump are meant to replicate things you can do with the ball.
I see.
So they don't impact layout. They're just like a game feel edition. So we might not get to those until later. How suspicious are you of you? You're making a sour face. You're not making excited Devin face. You're not like, hell yeah, ropes.
I'm still like mulling over the controls problems.
I mean, we can do some reference of other games, and that'll make us feel a little better. It's got lock dodges that are all like have a ton of air steering in them.
Oh my
you're-
god.
Well, because you're doing like really precise like avoidance, and so
Yeah.
if it was all locked in, you would
doesn't-
jump right into rockets a lot. His
It's
ankles
a
are
little
breaking.
floppy though. Like when he's jumping to the side, it looks like it's like you would throw a doll to the side, not that someone is actually doing it.
Yeah, because it's got like a nice leisurely loop at the top where you would
Yeah,
see
yeah.
his feet go across. Oh yeah, wait.
Oh, they have that.
Yes, I forgot.
thing.
It's only on like
specific walls.
specifically marked walls.
And do you slide down if you don't?
Yeah,
jump?
and you like if you
try
as soon
that?
as you hit one, it's just that.
This X.
Okay.
There's no back and forth. It's just jump, 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 jump.
The back and forth stuff feels like unnecessary a lot of times.
Yeah. I always remembered in the Mario stuff, it felt a little bit better because you had to press back and forth.
Nice thing about that is you don't have to do any tuning of like because the player's instinct is to jump and then press away from the wall, which means sometimes they don't hit the wall. Whereas this like it's just all simplified to you just bop on. You made the change to you don't have to push into the wall anymore.
Yeah.
So now you just press jump and it'll continue to do that.
And you can slide down. Oh, I don't know if I set the data for infinite slide down.
So slow.
Yeah, so we'll get that'll actually have the animations. And then wall slides stuff. This is almost in, right? Yeah. Yeah, and the idea long term is I think I'd like to get like the ball, like he flattens out the ball against the wall and is sort of like riding it down and then launches off the ball.
And at what point do we need to address the camera a little bit more too? After all the primitives are in, it does seem like it's getting in the way.
Yep.
Now.
Yep. I think we should continue to do more primitives because it's going to be a long, hard journey into darkness to do the camera. Someone's going to get lost up the river for a while.
So we should put it off as long as
It's not
possible.
going to get any better. No, I just feel like we can make super rapid, visible progress in all of the primitives that helps us build the game. And then once we have the most of the primitives and player moves in, we'll circle back to camera.
Do you
and I
think we're going
that's
to run into situations where, like, after we've done work on the camera and made the camera like acceptably okay, that we'll be like, oh, the camera's fine, but certain types of level layout cause it a problem, so just don't do those types of level layout?
I think that probably will end up happening.
So wouldn't it be useful to know that
it-
before we build all those levels?
It would be, but I think it'd be more useful to have all the tools for building levels that create positive layout possibilities rather than knowing. So we've got like, here's all the possibilities that we could make with all the moves that we have, and here's some subset of that we should disallow based on what the camera can do. And I think it's more important to get that full subset, like to create our language for building out levels before we know what parts of it we shouldn't let people do.
Okay.
It's one of those things that we're going to regret it. It'll be 6 months. We'll be like, damn, we should have done the camera. And like, yes, we should have. If we had more resources, we would be working on the camera right now, and that would be a better thing to do than not. But given the fact that we only have 3 gameplay programmers and soon to have a 4th, I mean, if we wanted to devote Duncan full-time to camera right now, we could. But I feel like we're not going to even have all of the use cases or needs until we get further along to the primitives anyway. And so that work will be shorter once we actually know what the cases are. So.
Cool.
How excited do you feel about cameras?
I mean, the entire camera system? Probably not.
Oh, I heard you felt really excited about it, and I was really excited that we were going to have somebody who was interested in working on the camera system.
I heard we were hiring another camera.
And continued player work, so getting more of the new player movement in. We got all the wall slide, and we're working on other really big ones like monkey bars to be able to do hand over hand monkey bars on stuff.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You can't do that stuff like not even we can do.
Yeah, finally, Raz is doing stuff that I can't.
Yes, that's true. That's true. We're just about leaving pre-production. We don't have as much done as I'd like to have done, but that's kind of always the case.
We didn't have enough programming resources early on during pre-pro, so we are not through as much of the core gameplay as I'd like to be for production, but prioritized all the player move stuff so that we were able to build levels properly. And then the other exciting announcement staff-wise for us is we've spent a bunch of time with Key doing such a wonderful job filling in for our lead programmer that Key is now our lead programmer on the project. Yay! Because we figured since he's just been doing all that work, we should make that official. So that is Key is now our lead programmer, so that is awesome.
So the thing that I've done a lot was lead gameplay on smaller teams. So being a lead programmer now on a bigger team, there's a lot of things I don't know what I'm doing. There's a lot of things that I haven't done before, not to mention I have been so targeted and specifically thinking about gameplay stuff, like stuff that are more system side, like graphics, memory management, stuff like that, is stuff that I'm kind of broadly aware of, but nothing that I have deep knowledge of. The general goal of saying like we're out of pre-production for tech.
Yep. So the main focus is that once we're in production, content creators have everything they need to move forward, focusing primarily on level teams. And that is along the lines of why we are focusing on player moves and primitives and stuff like that.
So, you know, I think it definitely would have benefited the project better if someone was in this position that had the wealth of experience. But that person is also very hard to find. And it's also very hard to find for this particular game that fits with this game and fits with the studio. So hopefully I'm doing okay.
What are we waiting for? Why are we starting so late? What is going on?
James is having some check-in issues.
As in he didn't check in yet?
I think he's trying to push.
Because I have a suspicion there's a substantial amount of content to look at.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's a lot of content everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think this path right here, you need to work on the connections just because there's not an immediate, like, where the hell am I going? And all of that does not look like a traversable space to me because it's such a sharp slope. Like, largely downward slopes would be associated with paths down, not paths up. I realize you can climb up that thing a little ways.
It's those kind of problems that are really important. And I think framing scenes is also something that I hadn't even put much thought into before I got here. But it is like most of my job now. And I think a lot of 3D platformers do that very poorly. Like, I think there are a lot of 3D platformers where you walk into a room and you can kind of see everything that's going to be in the entire level and nothing draws your eye. And that's terrible. And once they started talking about that, I did realize, like, oh yeah, I've played a lot of games where I've walked into rooms in that game and just been like, I have no idea even what I want to do in this room. So trying to fix that and give the player a sense of excitement when they're supposed to have it and a sense of confusion only when we want them to have it, you know, that's the kind of thing that we're working hard on.
There's stuff happening here.
Yeah, there's a lot of video game happening right there.
Big turning ship is real subtle.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of this. My experience of like the initial path when you're going forward is good. When you try to jump laterally on these things, it starts to get really confusing because you jump to one and then you've got to redirect to the other one, and you end up doing that a lot. It is almost always easier to make things harder after the fact. So across the board, starting with stuff that's like very clear, you understand what's going on, and like most players can execute it is more of the goal. And then if it's like, this is too easy, let's make it hard. It's very easy to make platformers smaller, to make things further apart, to make things happen faster. You've got a lot of dials after the fact. And so like White Box is more about like clarity and reliability of execution.
But I am pretty inspired by like Zach's breadth of knowledge when it comes to games. It seems like he's played and understands every game in existence, which I don't understand because I consider myself I consider myself like well-read when it comes to games. But even so, like Zach seems to know pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I kind of aspire to have that kind of breadth of knowledge as well.
Yeah, I think he's played a few games before. Zach is one of those developers who's really good at having a project focus, and so he can internalize pretty quickly a lot about what is good and bad about a given style of game or a given kind of gameplay and help represent that outwards really, really well.
Creating and satisfying curiosity. You know, like in Mario, they'll have like a circle of flowers and you run around through all the flowers and then one pickup appears in the middle. And you're like, oh, I should try to do stuff like that. There's all kinds of different statements of this we played around with when we were talking about like Psychonauts, but it is sort of like that nostalgic feeling of curiosity of being a kid at a summer camp and you're curious as to what's out in the woods.
Yeah, having somebody who can really easily and coherently talk about what makes platforming good helps the whole team.
All right, and then this is like a blockage?
That's where you came from.
That's where you came from, okay. If I don't know where I'm going, presenting a blockage is kind of irrelevant. Come down here, and I'm in another big tunnel. This is all eventually going to be more interesting player path, yes or no? And then these would be disappearing lattice pieces. Oh no, and there's like a secret over there I have to go and get, and then I come back this way and double back and do this one, and yep. I also don't know where the exit is in this room. If you could show me where the exit is when I come into the room, that'd be awesome. Over where? Here?
To your left.
Here?
This does not exist right now.
What does exist?
I was like kind of rough. It's like, oh shit, we're not doing anything right. But I guess, I mean, that's like, I guess that's just the whole point. It's like, I mean, that's just what it takes to like get the level to be good. It's like, fix this, do this, do this. Like, this doesn't play very well yet. You gotta think about this when you're doing this. And like, yeah, I guess that's all part of the process. But man, yeah, it would be nice to get like more like, oh, this is fucking fun. Like, look at, I fucking love this thing. I like this idea. This is a cool idea. But I mean, they don't have to do that. That's not their job, is to be nice to us. Their job is like make the level cool. And like, that's the whole process. But yeah, I didn't think like that was a thing. Like, I thought I was the only one that was like thinking about that. I was like, man. But yeah.
Well, why wouldn't the sword come out of here?
Yeah, so I think the better point is you had an idea about what it is, but like the player right now is showing you that there's potentially a better solution to this whole thing, which is don't let me get to the top of the spire and have nothing traversable up here.
Yeah,
right?
and then the sword would just come out of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like anything, half the time what you're doing is you put the game you've made in front of people and you're like, what do you expect to be happening? Yeah. And most of the time what people expect to be happening should be the thing that's actually happening.
And most of them, I think they're on point with their criticism. But it was all very specific, which I really liked and really appreciated. It wasn't like, this area is junk.
Oh wait, no, I don't want to play. I don't want to play from here. Hold on.
Let's play it over. Let's start from here.
No. That's how you can tell when your level's getting really good. If I did want to play it all over, I'd be like, let's play that again.
Well, that's upsetting.
Levels would be good. You're in block mesh. You're in block mesh.
If your level is fun, I'd want to play it again. Guess what I'm doing? Not that.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's been a kind of a learning process. On the path that I worked on, like it was a lot of fun to make, but then watching someone else play and like realizing like how like hard and like terrible it kind of was, like maybe, oh shit, like I don't know if I'm good at this or not. We've been working on this one for a long time now, and like it's just kind of we're kind of like spinning. I don't want to say we're spinning our wheels, but it's just been a long time, so it'd be kind of nice to like start fresh.
Oh really?
Yeah, because they were here for
The one here? Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so tiny. So tiny. Oh. It's a handle. Yeah, it's like a 6+.
So, yep, what do you got there, Duncan?
So I have a test level, and this is kind of how it started. And then I just rotated the whole test level and put it on the wall.
So the world space got moved.
Yeah. So that smooth transition is what we're going for, and you know, hopefully you can sort of go all the way around and smoothly transition onto other surfaces. But the camera doesn't really have much time to change how it's looking. Raz doesn't really have time to adjust. The camera immediately flips, he immediately rotates. So this is the sort of main proof of concept for now, and then we'll see how it goes later.
And so like these are also, they're not like perfectly aligned, but I can probably jump across.
Oh hey, there's more of an animation
that
in
in,
there.
yeah.
All right, good. That's at least
was
something.
yesterday.
Woohoo!
This is a nice perfectly aligned one. We can also go vertically. This is where Zach was like, I'm gonna mess things up
Gonna
by
make things
putting
not work.
bumpy stuff everywhere.
And Devin was like, haha, I unintentionally, without trying at all, made this work.
It doesn't go if the bump is too big, it won't go.
So there'll be some tolerance on the collision. This is one, if it's easy to fix in the short term. Oh yeah, this is good. So that we will have some stompinators in the game. But it is
the behavior we get is way better than I would expect. Like the fact that he is stuck in the ground like this is fantastic.
There was one small one that, if it was just animation based, would be nice to fix sooner rather than later. And then we can do some timing puzzles and stuff with it. So if you imagine that was a thing that was moving up and down, and you had to grab the monkey bars and get across before it crushed you, then it would be fun.
This is brand new.
Have confidence in it. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. We're gonna do this. We want to support this kind of stuff. I'm going to guess. No, what?
It sounds like I just came out of the closet. You're like, listen, we want to be really
your mother
supportive.
and I,
We love you.
No,
Art school sounds really cool.
Whatever, we'll love you no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the intention, but I don't think that would be
Was clear at all?
Yeah, there was no part of running through that made me think I had to go there.
Hey.
Or that there was
There's
anything
work
even
to be
outside.
done.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
It's been cool to see like how much thought goes into a single like set piece in a game. So like to think that there's going to be over the course of this game like 200 or so things that we'll have to put that much thought into is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's workable. The other thing that we want to have support that I think is going to be really useful is the wall climbing. So the idea is you'd be able to be on a wall climb. It goes upside down. It becomes the monkey bars. It goes around the other way. It's wall climb again from the opposite direction. It goes down here, and you stand up, and you're on the floor. And so you'd be able to have a mix of like V-poles and climbing surfaces and floor jumps and things like that to make something like that work pretty well.
Is a little tough right now because those primitives and the player moveset aren't fully online. We're building the railroad as the engine's going down it. Like, you know, we're laying the tracks in front of the engine, and that's it's just where we are.
Also, so today is the last day of this sprint. So please update your stuff. Tomorrow will be the first day of the rest of your life and the next sprint, which is also the end of pre-production, right? That's our last pre-production sprint. So if there's anything that you sitting at your desk are like, oh my God, I can't believe this team does not have this particular thing handled by the end of pre-production, what are they thinking? Now's your last chance to bring that up. Not right this meeting, but I mean, I feel pretty good about where we are. There's a lot of stuff that's not done, but there's a lot of stuff that is done. But we should have that exit be a relatively strong exit. So if there's anything technically or creatively that you feel has been dropped, please bring it up during sprint planning, and we should try to get it done. Unless, Duncan, do you want to do your announcement before you demo a thing or after?
Yeah, well, you said there's an announcement, so.
But it could keep people in suspense.
I could. Today is the last end of the sprint for me because this is my last week at Double Fine, as some of you might have heard by now. Sorry.
Say hi to Matt and all them over at Oculus.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are reasons that I'm leaving, but that doesn't mean that I'm enjoying leaving. Like it's really hard to say goodbye, and I think Psychonauts 2 is going to be a great game. I think the people working on it are all amazing, and we've built a great team.
But in the short time that you've been on the team, you've been so incredibly productive that you have something to show for everybody this time around.
So I'm going to show you all some fun gravity things. Some bittersweet gravity.
Bittersweet gravity.
Yeah, and stuff already went flying. But we have all sorts of weird spline things like ladders working in relative gravity.
We can now do Sasha's
Oh,
cube.
yeah, it's done. Sweet.
Sasha's cube. I'm only going to show this to two sides because those are the only ones I tested before I checked it in at 3:59.
Try another one. Try another one. Do it. 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 Land on the ground. That's fine.
I'm gonna miss this place. It's gonna be hard not to work on these really cool games anymore. But I think we're in a good place.
Really, the most amazing timing is, as you were saying, it's going to be hard for me to leave this place. Monica walked by in the background doing something incredibly weird. It's just like, yep, it's Double Fine.
So Duncan's done a lot of hard work for us in the past, from the ridiculously hard Wii U port of the cave. Part of it is especially because I've gone through leaving myself. I understand how hard it is to leave this place. And I think, when it happens, I think we also have to look at the things that they've worked on and their impact in this studio and the things that they've done and acknowledge it and talk about this is what you've done here and we really appreciate all the things that you've done and we're going to miss you, not just as a coworker, but as a friend and family of the studio. And so thank you for all that you've done and good luck.
Thank you. Let me try not to. All right, we have one other thing to show. Aaron has been working on a helpful tool for level teams.
I've been going through and adding some visualizations in the editor for the level primitives so that when level designers are placing all these little items for platforming and all that, they know what things are going to link up and sync up and do what they expect. So now I actually have a little visualization that when you select H-poles, it'll highlight the regions in which the other H-poles must lie in order for them to connect up. Jumping from this H-pole to this H-pole would not connect, but that would. The bouncers that Key made had visualizations before, but you had to play the game and have a property on them checked. Now when you select them, it just does it in the editor as well.
Does that update if you change the target?
Yeah, oh yeah. And so yeah, there's the bouncer at the bottom, takes you back to the top. And you can see the path it's actually going to take. The other thing is it highlights in gray the target that the bouncer is shooting for, and then in blue it shows you where it's actually going to end up as far as the physics system has predicted it. So this means if you accidentally place a bouncer somewhere that it's going to, hit something in between, it'll let you know that. So if you have other level primitives or other things in the game that you'd love to have little debug visualizations for in the editor, let me know, and I can work on getting those added in. Hopefully save people time.
That is it is really hard to understand what that is. That is a...
Is that a monkey bar?
Monkey bar.
That's what I thought it was.
Thank you.
Oh, it looks great. Wow, that must have just gotten fixed.
Yeah.
And maybe there would be some Zelda crack-esque
Crumbly,
giveaway
yeah.
that they're crumbling.
Older on their way out.
So it's like something that you're basically, Raz's energy is kind of disturbing them. And
Yeah, as Raz's energy is leaving his feetsies, it's also making the ground crumble beneath him.
Oh, cool! There's giant swords falling on you now. Yay!
Are those moss spores?
Although having one of those slice through a piece of geometry, like you being on a thing and then the goes like this and then the thing falls away.
Sideways.
One of the things that is nice about the area now, and I actually feel like when I run down here, it is encouraging me to explore a little bit more, which is really, really nice. And I like being able to run around the shield and see the different paths as I run around and open up different lines of sight through the area. So it's feeling a lot better.
And then when you exit the area, I feel like you sort of had a little journey through there, and you're like, oh, now I'm on the other side.
Yeah.
So I wanted this reveal to be nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked
Points you up there,
early
yes.
about also making sure that we get a custom camera for this place.
The composition of all this stuff is much, much better. The way that you enter spaces, the way that the path is stretching in front of you. Wow. Oh, yay!
Oh, I'm going to wait until see if it breaks, and if it doesn't, I'm not going to qualify it.
You're not going to qualify it? It's unqualifiedly awesome?
Yeah, I was joking. It's really cool, and nothing's wrong with it.
Is there a different return path?
Woo! Well, that was awesome.
Oh my god!
It got me.
Man.
I was sloppy. I knew that was going to happen. And I really like, for instance, where we got the helmet level 2 in terms of whiteboxing. I think there's a lot of really cool ideas in it.
It makes a lot more
Because
sense
Ryan
now.
seemed mad last time. Remember? He was like, this has been a consistent note every time we've looked at this level.
It's one of those experiences that we can look back on it and say, I think overall, especially, it worked out the way we wanted it to, which is really good. Good job, you guys.
All right. Yeah, it's a good job.
It's cool to see our first white box play through it. It's hooked up to the hub. We have a video game happening here.
First one.
They're basically done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it was way more positive. I can't tell if that's because it was way improved or if it's because they were like, well, we're tying this off today regardless. So.
It was improved a lot since the last time, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think. Well,
you
especially
put in
'cause-
a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, all these extra things I have to do to being on this team.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah, whoa, mushroom.
That's what I was trying to show earlier.
So what were you thinking with the, is this a squash and stretch test or?
Then you get to the
I like the tooth.
like
that's sticking right out.
Somebody put him out of his misery.
Get gifts of all of this stuff.